evening. My name is Crystal Chibwa. You're welcome to HopeGrill. It's good to have you back on the show this Thursday, and I have a very interesting person with me this evening. But before I go to my guest this evening, I want you to know that this is where we teach and we infuse and we experience hope. So by the time we're done today, you should have eaten, touched, felt hope, and live a hope-filled week. I hope you will have fun because I have with me in the studio Mr. Adeolu Ogunnubi. Mr. Adeolu, can you just Ogunnubi? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Somehow I just keep calling him Ogun. Oh my God! So we have Mr. Ogunnubi. Ogunnubi.
B.I.
B O Ogunnubi. So we can just short your name as Mr. Nubi.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Mr. Ogunnubi
Yeah.
in the studio this evening. Please, can you just introduce yourself again to our viewers so they can meet you and know what you do?
All right. It's lovely to be here with you. My name is Adeolu Olawale Ogunnubi. I preside over an interdenominational ministry called Parakletos Ministries International. One of the very things we do, one of the few things that we do, and the core thing we do is minister to the needs of singles and married. And we have a monthly interactive forum called Heart to Heart that we meet once every month in Festac Town to talk about issues that has to do with love, has to do with relationship, has to do with singles, has to do with courting, and has to do with relationship. We have a couple of other things that we also do that relate around leadership, youth leadership, capacity development, discipleship, and a couple of other things. I'm also a business owner. I part of the team that runs the digits sound. We do everything that has to do with live sound.
Okay.
Live sound at its very best. And we also run an online digits radio, which we call Digits 1024. I do a lot of a lot of mentoring programs and for people in the area of relationships and young people that aspire to be leaders in various fields. I have a couple of other things I do. By the way, one of them is I'm the head of the pastoral counselling in an NGO called Warren Rose Foundation.
Okay.
We have a monthly forum for women who are going through or have gone through domestic violence. We try to give them a better ease of life, provide the atmosphere for right knowledge, and to get them out of that situation and put them in a proper state where they can make progress with their life and possibly punish the offender.
And very interestingly this evening, there's so many parts to Mr. Ogunnubi that we are going to be exploring. As he was talking, the first thing that came to my mind was Parakletos. Okay, and so if you are joining us on HopeGrill this evening, what we're going to be talking about is how to handle conflicts in relationship.
Yeah.
So we're going to be harnessing, the area where he deals with singles and married, and everyday people, we definitely have conflicts. Even at the workplace, we kind of just have issues that we have to deal with and how we have to deal with it. So before we start talking about conflict, can you tell us the meaning of Parakletos? I was going to. Sounds very interesting.
The word Parakletos is from the Greek word.
I was just waiting for that.
It's actually a Greek word.
Okay.
That is translated Holy Spirit.
Wow.
That's where the Holy Spirit is translated. The description of the Holy Spirit as the helper. That word helper. The original Greek translation is Parakletos. So that's where the word Parakletos is gleaned from. So it actually means one sent alongside to help.
One sent alongside to help.
That's
why you're on HopeGrill, because HopeGrill actually is that, sent to help.
To help. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Wow.
I understand. I very much understand the vision of this particular body, and I see that it's a body that is here to offer hope to probably people who are So where there is help, you find.
Wow. Thank you very much, and thank you for telling me the meaning of Parakletos, because now I know that this is a Greek word, from the root paraklet, which means someone that is sent to help, and the Holy Spirit. I mean, that's good knowledge for our viewers also this evening, and I'm sure that that already is helping you. So today you deal with women, and by the way, today is
today is Women's Day, so
yeah,
it's another time a very special time to celebrate great, inspiring, strong women across the globe.
Wow.
I have a couple of them in my life.
Okay, you want to say a shout out to them?
Yes, first of all, my sweetheart.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we're together today, and if she happened to be off work, and for some reasons we had to go to the hospital with her. So on a good note, I would not have planned to leave her today, but so she was magnanimous enough to say, look, there's a glorious cause that you're going for. Please
What's
go.
her name?
Grace Oriofe.
Oh, Oriofe. So can we just, and if you're out there, let's just give her a wonderful thank you very much for, releasing your husband to be here.
She's been a very powerful pillar. I could not have gone this far without help and support. And I'm sure there are lots of other great women outside there doing fantastic things. What you are doing, when I think I heard a bit about what you guys do from a friend of mine, Boma, who apparently is the link.
Yeah.
And quite inspiring. I felt there are still very good people in Nigeria doing fantastic things, doing great things. They may not be very they may not be all out there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are doing fantastic things in their various fields, and it's just a matter of time. Once you identify them, you give your best, to it, and that's what I'm doing here. That's why I'm here. So I also want to thank you for allowing your life to be poured forth.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. So to every woman out there, it's International Women's Day. We just want to say we love you. Thank you for the great work that you're doing. Keep doing it. And some people that just feel like they're just probably housewives or just mothers, you're doing a great job. And if you're listening to us, we want to say thank you, and keep pressing for progress. As the theme is for this year, just keep pressing for progress. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can just be one small thing, like supporting, like his wife, supporting him to be this great man that he is. Just keep pressing for progress, and I'm sure that the sky is just the beginning.
There's a whole lot of women doing fantastic things behind the scene, and I know sometimes we get discouraged when we don't get noticed, when nobody's clapping for you, and you just find yourself behind the scene. Nobody's taking note of what you are doing. I want to reach out to women like that who are doing very great things, and nobody seems to be noticing. The truth is, somebody's noticing.
Yeah.
Somebody above is noticing, and just a matter of time, you will see the fruits of your labor coming out very strong. You guys are doing a great job, and it's just a matter of time. I'm sure that your area of influence will continue to increase.
Thank you so much. So back to HopeGrill this evening. Our conversation is on conflict in relationships. So, I think the first thing when I met you today and you were talking about Parakletos, the work that you do, and just now you told us about the foundation again, about rape and all of that. How did you get into the sector of, the marriage, singles and working with people, and again, you're a counselor for persons that have gone through rape. How did you get into this space?
Well, I think it's been a very long journey. I think it all started from my university days. I'm someone who takes time to study my environment, and one of the things I noticed at that time was that love on campus was regarded as a child's play, and people just didn't think that there were, real love can be discovered on campus. That everything we do is just a sham. It's just going to fade out. And there were a lot of gory stories, even among the people of faith, that people who profess love, eventually at one time things go wrong and then love turns to hatred. So I was intrigued by that and I wanted to study. So when I hear people are in love, I have friends who fall in love or in a relationship, I take special care to understudy their life. Okay. So what do they even what do they do? You know, what is this concept all about? So that's where it started from. Just observing and studying people in love. You know, and in the course of doing that, I discovered that the female personality got my attention.
Okay.
Obviously.
Obviously, right? Because
and,
I mean, I think we're just.
And I discovered that
uniquely
it was an unending study. The woman is so complex that you just you never graduate from studying them. You know, so anyway, that's how my quest and my desire. So that's where it started from. I wanted to, and I made up my mind. I haven't seen a lot of failed relationships. Then in my family, I'm from my nuclear family is my nuclear family. My parents are still married, but the extended family were more of a polygamous setting. Okay. You know, so uncles, aunts. I saw a lot of dysfunction in their marriages, a lot of challenges here and there. So probably my parents' marriage are the only one that probably stood out of all.
Wow.
So I told myself that there's a need for me to study marriages and for me to be able to, and then I wanted to now contribute to it. And for me to do that, I also needed to make a statement with my own marriage and my own relationship. So anyway, so I started studying and I was going to make a statement that eventually when I fall in love or when I get to start a relationship, it was going to make a statement on the earth.
So you've studied you've been in this field for about 20 years now.
Yes.
And you've been working in this space. I mean, like you said, people are very complex. So you hear a lot of irreconcilable, especially women. And that's why we're celebrating women today.
Sure.
Because we are powerful, we are strong, we are courageous, we go for it, we make it happen.
Yeah, literally.
So, looking at the studies you've seen, my question then is, how do you manage conflicts? Because, I mean, you're very right. There are a lot of marriages going sour. There are a lot of people that are probably, businesses even go sour because conflicts arise and people do not know how to go about it. So if there's someone listening to us this evening and the person, is going through a situation and there are conflicts, what would you be telling them, especially in their relationships?
Thank you. First of all, the first thing to note is that conflict is a norm. It's normal.
It's normal.
Life. Okay. Conflict. Having conflict in a relationship does not show that you have a problem. Just first of all, understand that conflict is normal.
So if you're going
through, some people,
it's normal.
Some people think that once they start having conflict in their marriage or their relationship, it means that they're married to the wrong person. That's that's a foundational error. Understand that God uses conflict to actually make people bond more.
Okay.
Because in a relationship, we are talking about two people from two different backgrounds, culture, orientations, coming together to bond. There will definitely be friction. That friction you see is like iron sharpening iron. For iron to sharpen iron, there will be friction.
Okay.
But there is a way you position the two ions that it makes for sharpening each other. So conflict is the norm. You have to understand that by default that it does not show.
Conflict is a sharpener.
Yes, it can be a sharpener. It is expected to be. But because of the heat that comes with it, it is generally abused. It is generally misunderstood. So if you are listening to me and you find yourself in a conflict with someone, especially that you love, and your background or your orientation tells you that because this person does not agree with me, this person does not see things in my perspective, then we are incompatible. So you hear a lot of people say that this relationship were incompatible because there is something with the other person that you don't agree with. First of all, that is wrong. It is for you to understand that the reason why conflict exists is because you are two different people. You are not born, even if you are born, even twins that are born in the same house,
they still have
you still have to have conflict. So it depends on perspective. Have a different perspective. That once you see a conflict, this conflict can become a tool for our bonding. Understanding is very key. Okay. So once you have that understanding, now that is the foundation for you to be able to. So when you see it differently, you then approach it differently. You are now looking for how to resolve. How do I make this seemingly disagreement become an agreement that now binds us together and make us more intimate with ourselves? That's another challenge. It's a skill that you also have to learn. Nobody is born a superstar. It's just I was born with the gift to resolve conflicts. You learn it. It's a skill, just like communication. And one of the things you will learn in resolving conflicts is to learn shaping your communication skills. You will need to know how to speak correctly.
So please hold that thought, because I'm sure somebody. I mean, even I'm listening to you and I'm just so fixed and intrigued because my thoughts. I've never. Of course I know conflict is normal and all of that, but I've never looked at it in the case that it could be a sharpener and a bonding tool for relationships and for marriages. If you're just joining us this evening, this is HopeGrill, and what we're talking about is how to resolve conflicts in relationships. And I have with me Mr. Adeolu Ogunnubi. And Mr. Ogunnubi actually is the founder or presiding person over Parakletos. And we learned that Parakletos means the Holy Spirit. It's a Greek word from the word Parakletos.
Got it right.
Yeah, I feel so much
good.
like a good student. So
it takes some people a lot of time to actually get that pronunciation and get it well.
I mean, since you came before, since you came and you talked about the first thing that occurred to me is what's the meaning of Parakletos? I mean, I was going to just really ask you, and I didn't want to ask you before we got on the show. I wanted to just ask you while we were on the show. So you've laid the foundation for us. So when I then know that that's the bedrock, what are the steps or to now resolving the conflict that is already on ground? Because if I agree that yes, it's a norm, but still we are quarreling, and you talked about communication. What are the skills? What are the other things that we now need to do to be able to kind of fix or resolve whatever issues we have on ground?
All right, so quite a few things to do. I'll mention one or two as time permits.
Yeah.
The first thing is, in resolving a conflict of any kind, you must seek to understand first before you seek to be understood. I'll explain it again.
Yeah.
So probably we're talking about conflicts in the relationship, so it's probably between the husband and the wife, a fiance and a fiancé. So whatever the conflict is, your position is, I want to understand what this person is feeling. I'm trying to understand what this person is saying. I'm trying to, in doing that, there's what they call empathic listening.
Okay.
A lot of us, and mostly men,
yes,
don't.
It's international.
We have the problem too.
Let me agree with.
I have to agree with you.
Because today is our day.
I have to agree with you. So yes, so men don't have that patience, to listen. There's what they call empathic listening. That is listening with putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Okay. And it takes effort, deliberate effort, to listen, because especially those of us who live in this fast-paced city, where we try, every other thing catches
Lagos, New York,
and all of that, and our gadgets, our
environment does not help. First of all, when you are in conflict with someone, and you are, because definitely probably you guys are going to talk, you're going to try and talk it through.
Yeah.
When somebody is talking and all you are thinking of is what you want to say,
My response.
your response. So you hear,
I do that in a lot.
are you done?
Is
that all?
No, before you even finish, I'm already.
You are cutting in. So
yes, I have a point.
so and that's a manifestation of flesh. It's a manifestation of your ego, because you are listening to counter what the person is saying. You are not listening to understand the person. You actually are in a hurry to make the other person understand you. So for men, especially people who are, maybe it's a husband and a wife affair, men listen with their egos, women listen with their emotions. So he feels, I'm the boss, you should understand me first before I understand you. So there is that tussle to want to be understood first. But if you are going to make progress in resolving a conflict, you must be selfless. You must first be listening. Let me understand this woman, where she's coming from. If I was in her shoes, how will I feel? That will help you a lot to relax and to really hear the person out. And really, if you want to do empathic listening, you have to drop every distraction. You can't be doing empathic listening with flipping with your phone.
Or be watching
and
TV.
Watching Arsenal and
Yes,
Man U.
You say what's happening.
And people say, we are not listening to me, I'm listening.
No, I'm listening.
They listen with the ears, I'm listening, but I can't multitask. No. If you really want, if you are interested in the person's feelings, are interested in the person's what the person is interested in, you will drop every other thing and you will listen. But I also know that sometimes in conflict, emotions are high.
Yeah.
So it's possible that
you just took that out of my mouth, because I wanted to ask you, what of in a place where the emotions are so high and everyone is raging? I mean, you're literally, you're up and about and you just want to say what you want to say.
Let me tell you another golden rule. If you forget anything, don't forget this. You are right, but wrong on the top of your voice. I'll say that again. You are right. So what you want to say can actually be correct.
Can you just tell our viewers that?
You are right. What you want to say, your motives are correct. Your utterance, correct. But once your voice goes up, you are wrong. And you'll agree with me, those of us, all of us have been in
very
confrontational situations. Once somebody raises his or her voice against you, what defensive comes up is your defense. Yeah. Just because it doesn't matter what the person is saying. It doesn't even matter whether the person is quoting the scriptures. It doesn't matter whether the person is your parents. Once that voice goes up, something inside of you, right? And it's normal. Even your children.
Yeah.
At a particular point, your teenage boy or girl.
Not even teenagers these days, but my kids. I mean, it just they just get very they have a block. They have like, okay, she's about to shout.
Yeah.
Okay, like I already have a response. So I think it's not even just teenagers.
So it's everybody. So you have to respect that. And so what I do is that sometimes I don't even know I'm shouting.
Yeah.
You're not head person, but you're shouting. Say, no, I'm not shouting. I'm just trying to let what you are shouting.
I'm being emphatic.
I just need to get my point out. And sometimes it is actually because of the adrenaline. It's because of the rush. And sometimes most times the person doesn't actually know that the voice is high up. But once you hear that, there should be self-control. You should just tell yourself, calm down. And let me tell you, women, let me also advise women and advise men. When it comes to conflict of words, you can't beat a woman to it. When it comes to a debate and a dispute that has to do with the exchange of words, women are graced with their mouth.
Oh, really?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
So, and that is...
So watch out. If you're a guy out there, don't even just try. Just make sure.
Yeah, exactly. Most guys cannot take the verbal assault of an average woman. So that's why they find themselves responding with their physical strength. So but it takes a lot of self-control. Once you know over time that once your your emotions are high, and you probably once you start talking out of anger, out of this stirred up emotion, you are likely going to say things that you are going to regret saying. You are likely going to do things that you are going to probably regret. It's just good to keep sharp, take a walk, take in fresh breath, and then come back. Because as long as all of us know when that
when
you know,
the adrenaline is inside.
I remember I had an issue with my wife one time. I can't remember what exactly it was, but one of those, once in a while, the knots losing, the wires touch. And for women, once a month because of that.
That's a stereotype.
You know that there's always that month where the hormones are not balancing.
Yeah.
Sometimes for some women, for not everyone, for some women the wires touch at this point. So I don't know whether it was like at that particular point in time, but I can't remember exactly what was the issue. But I realized that I was angry, very angry, and I got up from the bed. I guess it was on the bed, and I was on the side of the bed. I got up from the bed, and I turned to get out, to bolt out of the room. But the emotion was so much that I punched the door.
Wow.
It was the dent. I just renovated my room about a year ago. That dent was there for many years to remind me that a man's scripture put us that a man's wrath or a man's anger does not wrath the righteousness or something like that. That it was a reminder that you cannot win by anger. So I told myself that imagine I didn't leave.
Yeah.
And that hand
went in the opposite direction.
Was delivered on her face. That's the end of ministry. Because there is no way under the heavens that heat would have come on her and the world would not hear.
Yeah.
So, but I was man enough to get up. I was not even planning to hit the door. It was just that the emotions was that high that I eventually hit the door. And I didn't know how bad it was until I saw the dent on the door.
If you're listening to us this evening, wow, I think that's, this evening, of course, I've had different conflicts with different people, but I've never really looked, I know they, try to understand the person first before you get to be understood.
Yeah.
But I've never really looked at it in this light. If you're listening this evening and you are on HopeGrill, what we're talking about is how to handle conflict. One of the first things we established is that conflict is a norm. It's normal, and it's okay to have conflict in relationships, in business, or whatever. However, the way you manage it is different. That it could be a bonding tool. And the first thing he shared with us, and I know that our time is far gone and we're wrapping up now, is that you need to understand and listen empathically. Oh my God, I've learned so much this evening. And please, if you're just out there and you're listening to us, you can always DM your questions to Crystal Chibu, and we'll direct all your questions to Mr. Adeolu, and he can answer your questions, and then we can bring back, we can send the answers to you. So, sir, because our time is fast spent, if there's one thing that you're going to tell someone that is going through that conflict, because I can just imagine, you talking about the adrenaline, and I'm thinking about myself, because I am that one person that has a lot of emotions, and my passion literally shows in everything. Even when I'm not quarreling with you and I'm having a conversation, I raise my voice, and I try to be assertive. What is that one thing that you're going to tell the viewers listening out there that you want them to consider each time they are going through a conflict in their relationships?
I'm trying to pick out of the
very many things, and you can make it 2 or 3.
Okay, let me drop one quickly. Ensure that one of the very good expressions that helps you to resolve your conflicts and help you to cool down is to be very quick to forgive. For me, I do what I call post-dated forgiveness. I forgive in advance. It helps your state of mind. There are a lot of people who, and instead of staying for instance, let's imagine you have a spouse who does not close the door against the influx of mosquitoes. So,
That's an issue.
Yeah, that's an issue. So
In Nigeria.
conflict can arise as a result of that.
Yeah.
So, and you have told him several times, honey, sweetheart, please shut the door always. But for some reasons,
He doesn't remember.
he
She
doesn't remember. So this particular day, he's at it again, doing exactly what you don't want. The point, the issue is the shutting of the door. Once he comes in and you start attacking his person, and there are statements that we use that we have to watch out. Once you say, when will you ever learn to close the door? You have never closed this door since you have been married. Once you start using the you never, you always, you have moved from the issue to the person. You are now assassinating the person's character. Probably the guy can remember that,
but I did,
why are you saying always? So you will never be able to resolve conflict that way. You know, stay on the issue, not on the person.
Stay on the issue.
On the issue and not on the person. And ensure that you forgive in advance. Always remind yourself that your better half, your spouse, has your best interest at heart. I know you may not. I know some say, no, it's not true. I know my husband doesn't have my best. But it helps you to be in a better position to respond to him than for you to be thinking, this man doesn't love me. He has never loved me. Even when he tries to do so, you will not be able to receive it. Because your heart tells you there's a hidden agenda in everything he does.
Very true.
So if you want to make progress, and I want to say in conclusion, if you want to make progress, have a tender heart, have a soft heart. Forgive in advance. Make sure you stay on the issue, not on the person. And then always believe that the situation will change. Be positive. Speak positivity into your marriage. Expect that this next conversation will lead to resolving the conflict. Have faith. Let positive energy come out of you. Don't be negative. Don't always think, no, I know this one. I know as I know that you don't listen. I just want to talk my mind. Let me just say what is on my mind. No. Believe that this conversation will lead you will be better. You know, that energy is important. That trust, that confidence is important.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Adeolu Ogunnubi, for coming on HopeGrill today. And if you missed out on any of this gist, all you need to do is go on our YouTube channel and just do a replay and go to Crystal Chibu, and you will just be able to go back on this topic. On HopeGrill this evening, what we talked about is how to handle conflict, or how to deal with conflict in relationships. And I had a very amazing person with me on the show this evening. Again, if you're just joining us and you're a woman, happy Women's Day.
Women's Day.
God bless you.